Welcome to Friday Night Lights End Zone Overtime. Let's get right to it. Jack, you've got some updated scores for us.
Yeah, this week kind of snuck up on us with some weird scores and some upsets. Why don't we take a look? The one that stands out to me, number 1 and 8 man, Gladbrook-Rhinebeck falls to Clarksville, 38-36. And how about a weird one in Division 3 or District 3 in Class 1A? MFL Marmac beats Denver. So now MFL is 6-1. Sumner Fred is 6-1. They both don't play each other. Sumner Fred has a tiebreaker. That's a weird 1A division. We'll get more into 1A action later. Any other scores stand out there?
Yeah, the Marion win over Decorah was absolutely a huge one.
Yeah, that was a late one.
And a big one for the Wolves. Decorah came in 5-1 in that game. So now both teams are 5-2, and Marion looks like they're going to wrap up a playoff berth with that win.
How about that? A couple losses. I believe they took them both early. And Marion, yeah, they're on their way to the playoffs.
It's a very difficult place to play at Decorah. Really, you talk about a great home field advantage. So to go in there and beat a team that's 5-1 with a lot on the line says a lot about the Wolves.
Yeah. Apologies to Cedar Falls. That should be yellow. It is a 42-7 final against Dubuque Senior. Like I said, the week kind of snuck up on us, and we had some great highlights as well.
No question about the game of the night. Williamsburg and Solon. Solon upsets top-ranked Williamsburg 21-14. Williamsburg, a few big turnovers in this game, and it really hurt them.
Yeah, Solon won a game that, look, I think the most talented player in the state plays for Williamsburg. His name is Derek Weiskopf. You just saw him punt the ball. He later had to play quarterback. But Solon kind of won this game gritty and in the trenches. Obviously, Williamsburg takes the lead here with the Steckley catch. But Solon takes advantage of the turnovers when they happen. I mean, look at that. Get after that ball, man. That's Barrett Shade getting after it. Geez, that's got to make your coach so happy when you can cause a turnover like that. And this Solon team, they're the giant killers now. They beat an undefeated Mount Vernon team a couple weeks back, and then they beat Williamsburg. I mean, don't get it twisted. Williamsburg is a playoff team. Williamsburg is a Unidome team. But Solon is kind of proving that maybe they don't have the same exact Division I talent up and down the roster. But man, those dudes could really play. And look, a couple of these are just 1-yard touchdown runs where they get stuffed, but they just get enough. And sometimes that's all you need.
An interesting thing in the preview that Chelsea did earlier tonight. She talked to Campman from Solon, and he said, "We win like Iowa."
That's a common theme.
Yeah, we win with our defense and special teams. You know what they did tonight?
They won like Iowa.
They won like Iowa. His dad played for Iowa, so he knows all about it.
Well, I'm sure Aaron was very happy watching that game, and so are the rest of the Solon fans. They got a lot to cheer about.
And back to Williamsburg, I still think they got a good chance to win a state title. They're that good.
I do think they do. I hope
things just went wrong for them.
Yeah,
tonight.
I hope their quarterback comes back healthy because it's just so much talent up and down the roster. We saw what Race Heitman did with the 4 touchdowns last week.
Most teams do not have 2 quarterbacks. Obviously, they had to go to a player they didn't want to play quarterback because that takes you away. His skill set as a receiver in other places. So if they do get the quarterback back healthy, they're a different team.
They mean trouble. People are still going to circle Williamsburg on their schedule.
Another great game tonight we had on KCRG 9.2. I hope you had a chance to watch it. It was in the mud, Maquoketa Valley and North Lynn. And what a football game this was. I want to know, it must have really rained up there.
It must have, yeah.
That's Aaron Scheinblum reporting. And then here's the game right here. And eventually it got really muddy, and they had a hard time moving the ball. Most of their successes came when they got outside. That was a pick 6. But you can see here, they're slipping, and it was tough sledding.
It was kind of advantage Maquoketa Valley in that way, even though you had the crazy Northland touchdown here on special teams, but Maquoketa Valley was just kind of able to adjust to the wet turf a little bit better.
Well, they had a big fullback that just pounded Northland tonight when they needed it. 22-15 the final. Maquoketa Valley wins it, and that was a huge win. Northland's going to be on our show Monday on Iowa Live, and their coach jokingly said, "We won't come on if we don't win." I think they're going to come on.
I think not only are they going to come on, they're going to bounce back.
And here's the deal: this was a slugfest, and both teams played their hearts out. So, Lynx fans, your team really played hard tonight, and it was just a fun game to watch. Here's Aaron Scheinblum with some post-game interviews.
22-15, the final score here is Mac Valley, the Wildcats defending their home turf and coming away with a big win. Of course, as you just saw, that late touchdown by this guy, Lance McShane, making the difference on the scoreboard. So I'll just ask you this. We saw it was a little bit of a funkier formation from that traditional I form. When you get that call, what's going through your mind knowing it's all up to me right now?
I'm thinking we're going to score. I got 2 lead blockers in front of me, plus whole line, the big 3. So our chances are pretty good.
And when we had the chance to talk prior to us being on camera, I was telling you, man, you have video game numbers. Like, people look at your statistics, they look at the ability that you have. You have something special. Tonight, you're held to a mere 155 yards. To a guy like me, that's still pretty darn impressive. But to you, that's essentially being held in check. But you were able to find those moments. Tell me, when you found those breakthroughs, obviously the 30-yard touchdown to start the game, and then on that drive to end the game, finding the gap right where we're standing right now, how did it feel to finally break one and realize this could be the moment?
It felt amazing. You know, it's a mental thing. You just got to keep pushing through it, even if some plays don't work out, and that's fine. But you just keep going, and those big plays will happen.
And those big plays definitely happened, giving you guys the win, 22-15. Now, I got to ask you this before we get going. A lot of people are used to seeing, the questions about sports. But I'm going to give you some rapid-fire trivia questions, and I want you to tell me, without thinking too hard, I just want you to tell me first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yep.
Favorite zoo animal?
Bear.
Okay. What is your favorite dream vacation?
Montana.
And at the end of the day, will you be playing football next year?
Yes.
I love this guy. Lance McShane, there's a reason why we're talking to him. Unbelievably athletic, deserves all the praise. Thank you so much for taking the time out. Appreciate you. And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time right here for the Game of the Week on KCRG 9.2.
How long does Aaron think this show is? It's
all about him. No, I'm just
Lance
kidding. How about
McShane,
Lance?
yeah, he played like a bear tonight, like a grizzly bear.
And I love
how big is he? 210?
6'2", 210.
And
6'3", 210.
6'3", 210. He is tough to bring down. He had a long run to set up that touchdown that we didn't get a chance to see. And, I mean, he ran over a lot of people tonight. He is a workhorse and just a really tough, great football player. Congratulations to Maquoketa Valley. And we're looking forward to having North Lynn on the show because they played a great game, too. Let's go to the Kolash Bowl. Prairie and Jeff.
No Kolashes on the trophy.
Yeah, that makes me mad. If you're going to have a Kolash Bowl trophy, you got to have a Kolash on it, right?
You would think so.
Prairie dominated this game up front. They really looked good tonight and was able to score a couple of times straight ahead on runs, and then they threw the football and had a lot of success through the air. Their defense, Jeff just one first down in the first half. They did come back and score a touchdown, but Apollo Payne had a couple of long touchdown catches. He's a 6'3" wide receiver. His dad played football at Iowa, and he is really a talented player because not only can he go up and get it like that, but he has good speed and size and could be a really good college football player someday and a big weapon for the Prairie Hawks, who won tonight 48-7. See, what I thought with that trophy is what you do is you fill it like a bowl, like the Orange Bowl trophy, with Kolash.
You would fill it with Kolashes,
and then at the end of the night, the players get to eat the Kolash.
Well, and if you win, obviously, you eat the Kolash as a dessert, as a reward, and you can't go wrong with the Kolash and post-win carbs it would be for Prairie.
Let's talk a little bit about Prairie. They are 4-3 now. You know, they were 3-3 coming in, and they were still ranked 10th in the state because their schedule is so hard.
I mean, that 5A schedule is just ridiculous, especially when you have to go play teams from Des Moines, which Prairie was unafraid to do, which I really respect.
They could have beaten Aiken. He probably should have. They fumbled the ball at the 1 yard line. They have Bettendorf next week. That will be a great game, just another test. They did lose their running back, Kelly, early in the game to an ankle injury tonight. That could be a problem next week, but the backups look pretty good. But when you lose a player that dynamic, it hurts. So hopefully he can come back, at least for the playoffs. Regina Beckman, that was the game you were at tonight, right? Regina trying to bounce back from that loss to West Branch.
Absolutely. The West Branch game was really a shocker for Regina. They came out a little bit slower. They did not come out slow today. First play from scrimmage, Ty Joss with a stiff arm. I do want to credit Alex Jensen, the wide receiver, blocking. You got to block as your wide receiver.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, exactly. And there he is right behind him, number 10. What Regina is able to do so well is break the explosive plays, and that obviously is going to get most of the credit. Jackson Nave, the wide receiver, with a big punt return here, but I was really impressed with how much time they were giving the quarterback. We did get just an unbelievable Beckman highlight. And Eli Klesner with this amazing catch jumps over the fence, but then Regina was able to punch back. And Coach Dumont, after that 4th and 30, was not happy with his team, but obviously a lot happier after this. Here's Joss with a little Caitlin Clark shrug. So much time in the pocket for quarterback Gentry Dumont that as long as they can continue doing that, they've got a shot. I'm very interested to see, this is 1A, I'm very interested to see how a team like Regina matches up with a team that is maybe a little more ground and pound, like a Sumner Fredericksburg or
different,
MFL Marmac.
Really different styles in the two teams. And can they defend against the pass like Regina has also?
Yeah, exactly. And giving up the 21 points is something that Coach Dumont is going to kind of take back into the locker room.
We did find out that West Branch is good against that passing attack because they played very well in that game. Kennedy Hempstead was last night, but we wanted to touch on that game. The Cougars win 44-0, their 5th straight win. They are on a roll.
Yeah, this is a classic example of a team that plays a hard schedule and maybe gets pushed down in the rankings, but then you look up and here they are. Gianforte, the quarterback, is amazing.
Yeah.
Calvin White with another catch. They're able to open up the field a little bit more for him.
Game. They're throwing more to Calvin. He's very sure-handed, and I recognize that guy. He's going to play tomorrow, right? Cooper DeJean on the sideline last night. And,
he's been at a couple of games because he's buddies with Max White.
Yeah, and I think Coach White wanted to put him in on a punt return, but I figured he might get in trouble if he did that.
No more eligibility.
But yeah, Vincenzo Gianforte, obviously very talented. I mentioned before that he reminds me of Brock Purdy a little bit with his moxie and size and the way he plays. Kennedy is a team that I would not want to play in the playoffs. They're getting better game after game, and what they have right now is not only a great passing attack, but a great running attack. And then when you have a player, they have a couple of great receivers. Cyrus Courtney is a D1 type receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all the tools. A big Nick Brooks running behind him, and that big offensive line. They can do some damage in the playoffs. And one thing I've noticed about Kennedy, their defense, which was struggling early, has come on. They were great defensively last year, lost a lot of those starters, so they started with a lot of new players, and they are coming on right now.
They really are. They're big, and they are talented. Like Cyrus Courtney, you're talking about one of the 2 or 3 best receivers in the state.
Yeah.
They might not have the same up and down 11 guys that could go D1 like a Southeast Polk or an Ankeny, but man, they have a few. And Gianforte has really matured quickly.
Yeah, and they have them at the right position.
Yeah.
They have their stars at the right position where I think the sky is the limit, but then we'll see. Obviously,
Kenny playing Prairie in these next few weeks. I got to imagine.
I don't have that schedule with me now, but that's a great match. No, they don't play him this year. I remember Coach Knott talking about that before the season.
So
you never know in the playoffs what could happen.
I'm just thinking about Apollo Payne, who is such a good contested catch guy. He's an all-state guy, but then Cyrus Courtney is just having like an all-time.
They're a lot
wide
alike.
receiver
Yeah,
season.
they're both a lot alike.
You just need a little bit of space with those two.
Yeah, and great bodies and just so athletic. And what really is good is their control of their body in the air is amazing. Apollo made an incredible catch tonight that they ruled no good. It might have touched the ground. It was really close, but just the fact that he had a chance to catch it, you thought that's an overthrow, but not when he's around.
No, it's like 50-50 balls are no longer 50-50 balls. That kind of cliche is. With those big wide receivers, those are kind of game breakers that can, in the playoffs, really help you out.
Week 8, next week, we're getting close to the end.
Yeah, we are. The game I noticed, because I was at the Regina game, is Wilton and Regina will play for a district title. They both have the same record, and that's in Class 1A. And then the playoffs start in 1A. And this is, I mean, we kind of say this every year, but they're from 8-man to 2A, like, anyone can beat anyone. I'm pretty sure
there's a lot of parity out there in those classes right now.
I'm pretty sure Grundy Center is undefeated, and they are the only undefeated team left in 1A. And I don't think there are any undefeated teams
in
left
8-man. Keep your eye on Winfield Mountain Union. Central City is improving. That was their loss was to Winfield Mountain Union, but those teams